Hello, how are we doing today? Oh, what a day. I'm tired, guys, but it goes on. We keep game tapping. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta keep on working. Here I am. Hello. We're gonna go straight to the screen. So, making a third person template. On Monday, we were experimenting with an IK target for the right hand so that we could have a pistol position and a rifle position for our character. But I've given it some thought and I don't think it's the right path to go down because ultimately the reload animation doesn't look good with the right hand target. I don't know if I can show that here. If I go to the animation tree, I think I've got right hand playing. Yeah, I do. Animation tree. And I go to the right hand blend. Now, if I run this, it doesn't do anything. Why not? Left hand target, right hand target. Is the influence not set up enough? I don't know. Why not work? Are these not the right? Pistol IK, rifle IK, pistol IK. Have I got the blends wrong? Has this been all just like... Obviously that doesn't help. Filters? The filters aren't set up. What happened here? Did I not need them? I'm really confused now. Position. I don't need filtering. Oh, okay, here we go. It's working now. I don't know what I did. Okay, so you kind of get what I'm going with here, where the pistol position and the rifle position, like, I mean, it works, but if we go to the forward position, and if I just reset the influence on this, set to 0.6, number pad's not working. So if we go back to that, and then we go back to the animation tree, okay, and we go for a reload, which is in this state here. Is it not? Oh, it's a one shot. How do I make it go? Fire the one shot. There it is there, fire. I don't know, maybe it does work. Let me have another look. Let me run this. I think the filter wasn't actually working properly. Because that looks a lot better. Obviously it needs a rotation. Check. Like, he's holding it a little bit gangster. I think the running animation doesn't look very good. Potentially this looks crap. I don't know, like, I'm just not feeling it. You know? You would need to do custom animations. I think, like, doing it with IK is just not feasible. Because, like, even the run animation, what you would do is you would set a blend up. Like, you got the feet, that's fine. You don't really need to do anything with those. But you need to set a blend up for the pistol animation, without a doubt. I forgot to activate the YouTube chat. My bad. Activate. There we go. So there's definitely, I think we're gonna need to shift that. So I'm gonna see what I can get from Mixamo, because this is a Mixamo model. I just gotta sign into Adobe, which is super annoying. Where's that gonna open up? Okay, here. What have I got on screen? Not this. Good. Risky shit. Alrighty. Okie dokie, Adobe. Adobe ID, is that what I need? Just trying to sign in. I hate that it logs you out. It's so annoying. I've done this before. Alrighty. Oh no, I don't want to add a phone number. Oh my god, Adobe, chill out. So annoying. Okay. Now we're rolling. Alright, so combat pistol. I just need a pose, really. We do still need right hand IK, I think, for like the reactions. Like we can do like the shooting reactions from IK. But realistically, we just want an idle, probably. There's kneeling idle. I mean, that would almost work since we're really taking the bones from the top. Pistol kneel to stand, whip. Yeah. Run. Cover. Hey, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here. I feel like that guy's pointing it down a little bit too far. I mean, I'm gonna like obviously counter that. Pistol walk, pistol idle. There we go. This one looks a lot better. That's pretty much what I want. It's pretty much what I had, but with this we can also get a reload. I think you owe me. You don't owe me nothing, man. Download this. Oh, thanks for showing this. Yeah, no worries. Without skin, with skin, that's fine. Download. I might have done this already. I actually can't remember because I stopped for a week. Pistol idle? I don't know. And then what about a reload? Do we have a reload animation? I don't know what I showed you, but I assure you it's no problems. It's what I'm here to do. Pistol reload? I'm not animating it myself. That's not worth it. Oh, I've been trying to find it for a week. Yeah, I mean, Mixamo is probably the place to go. I don't know, like it just depends on what you're looking to try and do. We don't have a reload animation for it, so that sucks. That's annoying. I think it will look better ultimately. Because like the blending on the hands and all that kind of stuff, it's just gonna look, it's gonna look better. Okay, so I need to go into Blender. That's not Blender, that's VLC. Go here, Blender. Let's go download and update. Come on, man. That is the worst. I don't want to update. I don't want to update stuff on Steam, on stream, I should say. I haven't been using my Windows PC much the last couple of days. That's probably why it hasn't updated. It is what it is, I guess. The running, I might need to see. That's the thing, isn't it? Like you need a blend for everything. So what else do we have there? Let's go back to pistol. At the end of the day, I do need a forward to play while we move. These kind of look the same. Is one running backwards or back? I try remapping the skeleton to the arm and gun model while removing the mesh of the hand. Well, this is the thing is with Mixamo, you can sort of run into a bit of trouble where, like, if you need to like sort of only use Mixamo essentially, and it depends as well if you're applying it to a model. I'm not. So it's not as challenging for me because I'm keeping this basic. But if you had like a dedicated model, how's this different to this one? Oh, like he's running. Oh, that's like the sprint animation. Okay, I need both. Download. Well, actually, to be fair, I don't think I do, because I'm going to keep the nothing worked, but I found all the pistol animations on a website. That's like less, because I'm not going to blend the legs. The legs are just going to keep the same animation, so that's fine. I think I got enough with these two. Pistol run, I've downloaded it before. Okay, just put this over to the side here, and get ready to try and work with this test character.blend. I wonder if I've already brought these into the actual project. Unequip, run left, run forward. I don't have it. Okay, but that's okay. So basically what I do, so this is like assuming you have your model already imported, had this animation. I tried somebody to search it on, yeah, that's a good point. It can be hard to find animations on there. Even when I downloaded the combat pack, it didn't have some of the animations that I needed. And so I just resorted to downloading them one by one. Import at their FBX, right? Yeah. I'm gonna move these. I have a folder. I think it's under Blender. Mixamo, movement. I'll drop them in there. File. Import. So we're working on a third-person shooter template. So this is going to be something that I eventually upload to the Godot asset library, and I'll make a series on how to make that for YouTube. So that's essentially what we're doing. Movement, pistol idle. And so, oh, it's a different model. I wonder if that'll cause issues. Probably fine. So generally what I'm doing is like, it's kind of slow, right? Making this kind of, it's going to be long content. So the last one I did was a first person shooter. It took a couple of months, and it was about a 2-hour video. This one's going to be even longer because I'm doing more with it. And it involves a lot of work with Blender. So I have to build the project first, and then I have to redo it essentially, but filming it and not doing it live essentially. And then eventually I'll turn that into like, it'll probably be about 6 months worth of videos. I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, we'll go from there. We'll go from there. Alright, so what we need to do is click this guy and then go, and it gets like, you get so many numbers, but you take this one here, and that's not it. Let's unstyle that. And now it has that pose. So we're happy here. I'm sort of cutting I'm cutting a few corners when it comes to making this work with Mixamo, but I'm gonna have to redo the 3D model, which kind of is annoying me. But I think this is the right moment, since I have to bring this in anyway. Maybe I'll do that off stream because it's kind of boring. We can get away with not doing that for now. So basically I'll push that down to the NLA and I'll rename that to Pistol Idle. And then I just need, I don't like that naming, lowercase pistol underscore idle. I also need to, okay, so we can delete this guy. Delete hierarchy, and I'll import FBX. I wonder if I could get away with just getting the animation data out of these. Running aiming idle, pistol run #1, import FBX. We just need the top half of this, but we'll take the whole thing, obviously. And click back to this guy. Looks good. Push that down. Pistol run. All right. And now we can delete the hierarchy. Okie dokie, let's re-export this. I'm not happy with the way that I set up the model in Godot. It's going to cause a lot of issues for me bringing this over, updated. But we'll do our best to make it work. Okay, let's go to movement. I don't know where I saved it. GLTX, FBX format model. Test character.fbx, that works. And because I shouldn't do it as an FBX, I should do it as a GLTF. I remember now. FBX is actually what I'm going to do in the video, but I was doing it in GLTF, and like you would think that would actually be right, but it actually turns out to be worse. So whatever. I guess with Godot 4.3, it's a lot better at handling FBX. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Oh, you know what? That's the wrong folder. I set up a GitHub repository and moved it. So that's actually going to the wrong place. So let's fix that. Import. Export. GLTF. Let's go. Sorry, I'll move this. Don't want to expose my hard drives too much, just in case. Made that mistake a few too many times. So I go to git repos, tier third person shooter, player model test character GRB. Okay, awesome, cool. All right, do you know Godot is the first 3D engine with advanced capabilities on Android? I didn't know that. I know that it's great for Android. I did an entire video where I made a game on. Okay, it depends if you mean like it's the first 3D engine with advanced graphical, like in terms of exporting to Android or actually running on Android, because it does both now. It's really good when it comes to running. Godot runs on everything. At the end of the day, being open source, it's good for that, for sure. Okay, so right-hand target, we're going to keep this because we still need it for some things in the future. But we'll have to remove the animations. Assuming that we've imported that now, we need to save the animations that we just brought in and see if we can apply them to this model. Being the same, it should work. But we'll see. If not, I just have to redo the entire character, which is tedious, but it's not impossible. Where am I? Player, character, model, test character, GLB. And we're under test character. Right, so we go to the two new ones and we saved a file. They are looping. And the path is under player, model, animations, pistol idle. Keep custom track, tick. Linear, enabled, player, model, animations, and this is pistol run. Save. Keep custom tracks. And then re-import. Making a game on Android and exporting to any platform. Making a game on Android is feasible, but you cannot export, at least... Okay, so I did it a couple of months ago. And I made... what did I make? I think I made Flappy Birds. That's the right one. I made Flappy Birds on Android. It's actually on stream, so if you want to watch it, you can check the profile. I haven't done an edited version, so it's like pretty long. So where is episode 1? I don't know. Saddam? Sad man? Oh shit. I don't know what you're talking about. Making a third person template for Godot. This is not serialized like that. I guess you'd be hard pressed to get that done because I get distracted a lot. But we're just hanging out, so you can ask me questions if you want. That's only Godot on Android. Godot, yeah, for sure. Like Godot, like making a game on Android is possible now. It's actually not that bad if you have a tablet. So I did mine on a Samsung Galaxy S6, Samsung Galaxy Tab S6, I should say. Doing it on S6, I don't know if that would be possible, but I did it on a Galaxy Tab 6, and it was fine. Specifically for the challenge that I did, I made sure that the game was actually made on the screen of the tablet. If you have a Samsung Galaxy, you can use DeX to actually turn it into a computer, which I imagine would be even easier to make a game. Like actually no problems at all. But I did it specifically just with the tablet screen so that I could sort of just like prove that it was possible if that's all you had, with a keyboard and mouse, obviously, typing on the keyboard screen. While possible, I wouldn't recommend it because you lose a lot of screen real estate. So yeah, 100% doable, achievable. Make a game on an Android tablet. It's fun. It's a good experience. Okay, we got those animations. Let's see if we can add them to our animation player. We're going to come up here to manage animations. Ooh, we press this button here. Player model. Animations. Rifle. No. Run forward. No. Run left. Right. Where is it? Pistol idle. Press OK. It should just be fine because it is the same model. And it is. So what we want to do is turn this off, number one. So we can see how this looks, and it looks pretty good. Have you ever got the physics process delta error in character 3D default template? No. Why would it have an error in the physics process delta? I actually never had that before. So if you like create a character body, right? 2D, 3D, doesn't matter, I guess. And then you add a script. Obviously you can have the built-in template. And if you say create, where am I saving this in the res? That's fine. What kind of error would you have here? With delta? I mean, I guess if you like that function there, get gravity, returns the gravity vector computed by all sources that are affected by the body, including all gravity overrides in the area 3D node. What the heck? It can't be fixed, whatever I do in Godot 4.2. What kind of error are you having? Physics process error in the character 3D default template. How could you have an error with this? It's fixed in 4.3? Okay. Heh. I think I have a copy of 4.2 sitting around. Godot 4.2 stable. Are the levels okay? I can't hear the music. Yeah, it looks alright. Okay, let's just create a test project. You got me curious. Okay, test or cover. Cover. I don't know how to pronounce your screen name. Select current folder, create and edit. Sorry, this is happening on another screen. Don't mind me. It's my primary monitor, which means Godot is always going to open up over there no matter what I do. Super annoying. And there's probably a way to fix that in the editor settings. I just haven't looked at it yet. So, I guess we create a new... This is 4.2.2 stable. I don't know if there's been an update since I think I downloaded this about a month ago. Wait, what's the day today? Ooh. It could be. It could be related to Android on the phone. Oh, Godot on the phone. The 28th, this weekend, I'm going to be playing your games. Reminds me. So if you want me to play one of your games, you can jump onto the Discord and drop it in the promote yourself tab, and I might play it on stream on this Saturday. Cool. Okay. Let's have a look anyway. Character. Default template. It's different here. Gravity project settings, default gravity. The other one just had get gravity. Right? So that's like an immediate difference that you can tell. Yeah? Get gravity. This function obviously didn't exist. I don't really like that. That function's kind of a bit like physics body 3D. There's a parent that like governs both character bodies and rigid bodies. I didn't know that. That's actually kind of interesting. It only happens if we keep re-editing the code every second before the code runs and fixes the error. Okay, that sounds really weird. I wouldn't understand that then. If you keep re-editing the code every second before the code runs. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Interesting. Did this physics body 3D exist in Godot 4.2? This is my first time hearing of it. Inherits physics body 3D. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, it did. I'm just dumb. Okay, well, I guess I don't know. Because that looks fine to me and it's not throwing any errors. There'd be no reason for it. What kind of error do you get? Anyway. Player. Okay, we have our guy. Let's go back to test character. In the pistol. Okay, this is great. It looks good. So in the right hand attachment, I wonder. Ooh, that one is like not looking great. Oh no, sorry, right hand attachment. It's very far forward. Is it always like that? Anyway, not important. Let's have a look at when I put a pistol in there, in the hand of the player. If I go down to weapon models for character model. Scenes. State machine? No, what? Models for character model, weapons for character model, scenes, state machine, state machine? What the heck? What's that doing there? Anyway. All right. That does not look right. It's not supposed to look like that, guys. Oh, okay, I already worked out what I did wrong. Let's delete that and drop it in this. Actually, pretty much perfect. That's exactly what we're going for here. Any tips for animation clipping? No. It's gonna happen, and I just ignore it. I and just block my eyes. I don't. Yeah, it's gonna clip. Hope that it doesn't do it long enough. If you mean from the first person's perspective, yeah, I've got some ideas on how to fix that. Just check my profile. I've got a couple of videos at this point. Okay, it's a little bit all skewed, but I think that's all right. Like, no one's gonna notice. Like, if you're over the shoulder with your camera, ain't no one, this is an orthographical. Let's go back to perspective, as they say. I don't think anyone's going to notice that. It's fine. Left hand attachment. I don't think we need it. We sort of get away with it, but I guess if we really wanted to check this, okay, editable children. Which one of these is the... I gotta name these. Hang on, let me open up the pistol scene. So the left-hand target is this one here. Left-hand target. And then this would be the bullet point. Okay. It broke. Let's go. Oh, it automatically rename them. That's cool. Back in the day, that never used to happen. Okay. Let's get back to the animation. Animation tree, dummy player, pistol idle. Okay, looks good. And then that. How do I ask for help when I get into some error? I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, that's one of the reasons I started making content, is because I never could find solutions for the problems that I was having. So I just started making videos on it. And like, yeah, I mean, obviously back then, like 3 years ago, Godot was much younger and was not as talked about as much as it is now. So you might be able to find a lot more help, but it really depends. If you're talking about, because you were mentioning before that you are making a game on Android, you're going to find very limited resources on that because it's only been around for a year and most people say don't, right? I think when I checked, like I might have been the first person to try making a game for content on a phone. And it didn't even get that many clicks, I'll be honest with you. So, like, I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. Let's have a look. Making a game on my phone, it got 270 views. It could have just been my delivery. It's a 3-hour stream, so it really depends on how I present it at the start. That can affect performance. So it could have been me. Might not just necessarily be the content, but all I would say is that when it comes to Godot on Android, like, you're gonna struggle to find help because no one's using it yet. But I have noticed that it's becoming popular. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's refocus in on this. So, what did I want? Oh, the left-hand target, that's right. Because this is built into the function of like adding a weapon. So whenever a weapon is added to the model, it comes with a left-hand target that tells it where to go, because obviously weapons are all different shapes and sizes. I'm kind of curious what it looks like with this, because obviously we've changed the animation. If I play the IK, I need to give it a target first, because that's done by code. So left-hand target, play. Honestly, it's not that bad. Actually, it's pretty good. It might need to come in a bit, like there. Would actually be like legit solid. Like that's actually really good. Mobile community is big. Do you mean the mobile development community? Or do you mean like people who play mobile games? Because I've had a lot of people ask me questions about making games on mobile, but only people ask me. I've not seen anybody actively talking about it or like working on anything big. You know what I mean? Okay. So that looks really good. I'm going to update that transform. Copy value. Paste value. Okay. So what we need to do now is work on the blending and find out how that's going to work. So let's go back to the animation shader. There's one guy who makes template tutorials for mobiles. You should jump in my Discord and send it to me. I'd be very curious to see what they're making. .NET Web Exports come around soon. Maybe. Undergamer Godot. How underground is Undergamer Godot? Undergamer. Oh, I mean, he's on the same level as me. Godot export to go using Android with full screen mode. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. To Godot without a PC. Yeah, okay, so he's solved that problem. Actually kind of curious, because when I did this about a month ago, I wasn't able to figure it out. I mean, I was short on time. I just didn't care that much, to be honest. But I'm actually really curious about this. And we get to watch Hungry Jack's ad. Lovely.
Juicy, 100% Aussie chicken that will have you craving more and more. Now at Hungry Jack's.
What are our levels like? Oh, there's no commentary. So basically the experience I had here was that it would say like it exported, but it actually just exported a zip file with the project in it. Okay, if this has got no text, I'm just going to mute it and put it on fast forward. Bro. This is crazy. Dude's actually making the game with his touchscreen. That's dedication if I ever saw it. I would just use a keyboard and mouse with Bluetooth enabled. Act 2. Okay. You're making a horror game? Now open your file manager and navigate to your project directory. Bro. Rename it to main. Okay, curious. And then he compresses it into a zip. This is the entire project, I'm guessing. He could have compressed it first and then renamed it. And then he's gonna upload it to Google Drive. Oh my god, where is this going? Let's go a little bit faster. I don't have the attention span for this. I'm really curious to see how he solved this. It's like upload it to Drive, then download it on your PC. Oh my god. I'm guessing this is a web service. I have to assume that that's where this is going. Like, is it a web service? If he's uploading it to Google Drive, I can only assume now. I can open Google Colab, link in the description. What is Google Colab? I've noted that. Make sure you've logged in with the same account. Okay. Open notebook. Right. Where is this going? It's got to be an external project, like a install package, setup protection. Okay. I mean, I guess it is a web service. I was right about that. I don't understand how it works or why Google does this. But yeah, fair enough. This is really involved. Like, before run setup project, make sure you have undergamer.output file there. Otherwise, you have no install packages to gain. All files will delete automatically. Now we can go with the project setup. Okay, so my question is, like, with Android games, you normally need a key and like to upload it to the store, I mean. So like, how does that work? Does it come, like when you build the game here, do you get one? You can download it and install your own device, but like, it's not really going to help you when it comes to uploading it to the store. Like uploading it to the Google Play Store is really involved. It's not installing. All right. Yeah, because you just go into developer mode and like APK editor. What the heck? No, don't do this. This is not working. If this, okay, so like, my criticism would be like, this is not really like that helpful. You can't tell people to do this. Like in terms of distribution, now try to install. Yeah, I mean, of course it's going to run. Oh, well, so not really solved, at least in my opinion. But hey, that's cool that Godot 4 for Android is a reality 1 year ago. It's cool that people are making content for this because, you know, I think it's gonna become a very popular thing to do. So there's that. Godot flashlight tutorial with buttons, FPS, cool. Maybe one day I'll make content on it. But for now, we're doing this. Yeah, so my concern, I guess, like with Android, like making stuff on Android, it's like, it's okay, but it's not really going to solve some of the major issues when it comes to distribution. So there still needs to be work there. Like, how can you actually distribute it? Because obviously that's not a solution when it comes to distribution. It might help you debug your game or send it to your friends. I'm working with Movement I couldn't find the animation for my pistols, but I found it. I wish I knew it was a Mixamo animation bundle shooter pack. Is it? How do you even get that into your game if you're using a phone? I think I just got to go here. So the question I guess is now is like, how do I blend those animations? The answer is going to be with the state machine. I'm going to need some kind of frontal blend, and I'm going to need it for the run, and I'm going to need it for the... I don't have one for the sprint. That's the interesting thing. So how could this possibly go together? I think that is the ultimate question. Like, what do we do? Yeah, sorry about that. Play the music again. Because we have... Okay, jump idle is solved. That's not really an issue. Import it into the folder of my project. Just as an FBX file. But then how do you get it to like apply it to the animation? Sounds messy, man. But I guess if it works, it works. And we have sprint as well. All of these need to blend that. And so the question is, do they need individual blends or do they need... Then I import my main scene. Okay, well, there you go. So, man, where am I going to blend this? I can blend it because there's also aim, right? Basically fixes the idle position. So realistically, we probably need to have a second blend here. So this will need to be like 2. It'll be just like a switch. I need to do it. I want to keep it clean though, so I don't want to have to do it in multiple locations. You have unequip, which doesn't need to change, right? GitHub animation combiner. Okay. I don't know what that is, but it sounds interesting. The reload, which is pretty funny that we're still not going to have a specific animation for that. Man, this is not looking good. I'm not happy with this. Twitch scam you. Get out of here. Where's my moderation tools? Shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. Man, that asshole. So yeah. How do you do it in PC? Well, I mean, I just did. Basically, you bring it into Blender. That's not Blender. It's orange, so I keep clicking it by mistake. You bring it into Blender. I turn it into like a massive NLA. So basically, Blender. Oh, you guys can't see that. My bad. I just bring it into Blender and combine all the animations into a single model. So I've got all the different animations here. And then I can export that into the project. So I have a single model, a single animation player, a single animation tree, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know if it works any different. You probably just have a folder full of FBX files and then you can just, I mean, theoretically the same thing applies to this, right? Like you could just save the animations directly to the same model because ultimately it just works because it's got the same animation data. It wouldn't work if it was a different animation from a different source, but... Right, so what am I going to do here? I get a bit of a problem because I don't know how to blend all of these, right? Because I've got that pistol, like it's easy enough to just go, it's the same thing. Yeah, there you go. Animation. And then you've got like pistol idle, right? This needs to be blended after the fact. After this, I think. I was asking for game exporting to Android to other platforms. I mean, for PC export, I mean, it's still very complicated, but like the only one you can't do is Apple. You just need a Mac for that, but it's been a long time since I've actually exported to Android for production, but the one time I did, it was a very involved process. that required keys and encryption and all this kind of stuff. It was very complicated. So I guess this blend needs to sit here in this sort of chain of different one shots that we sort of fire off. These ones don't care, right? But what we do want is like a blend 2, and we can sort of like slot that in there, slot that in, right? And so we've got the 2, but we don't care. Oh shit. We don't care about, in Android we can prove it. Prove it. I don't believe you. Because you, like, what I just watched for the exporting Android to Android was not like a legitimate way of doing it. Like, you couldn't put that on the Android Play Store. It just wouldn't work. It was barely working on, you had to like install some kind of runner to make it actually install. So like, I mean, that's not the same thing. The solution is to install Linux on Android. Android, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could do that. That's probably possible. I believe you there. I mean, you can install, you can do like Windows emulation on Android these days, can't you? Is that a thing yet? I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know about this. I need to think about how this is going to put together. What if there was more? I guess that's the question. Like, what if there was more types of blends that you could have, right? And how would that work? You've got the movement, right? Idle, you've got run. It looks like this. What happens if we blend that fully, right? And then we add filters. Obviously, this is what I'm thinking. Fill selected children. Clear. That's not what I wanted. Would it be hips? We're gonna keep the shoulders. I think we're gonna go from. It doesn't work like real Linux. Then I don't know. Like, it doesn't sound like a good solution. It sounds like you haven't tried yet, but like, I would be interested to know, because like, how would you export from Android your project to iPhone? Like, it's not even possible on PC, so how is it possible on Android? Doesn't work with most software, then it's not, doesn't sound like a good solution then. Right shoulder, left shoulder? Happy to be proven wrong though. You know what I'm saying? What is this a child of? Spine 2. Enable filtering. Okay. That looks pretty good. You know what I'm saying? You go from rifle to pistol. This is much better than the other solution I had. However, what I don't like is, okay, there's another animation, right? There's the running animation. So like, what happens if I bring that animation in and I grab pistol run just for the sake of the experiment? Pistol idle? Where is it? Did I not bring it in? Maybe I never brought it in yet. Let's get back to the animation player. Animation, manage animations. But installing Linux instead of simulating does everything like a real would do. Yeah, installing Linux, I mean, it's Linux, right? It does everything. You can install it on a ARM device. It should be fine. It's not going to help you install. It's not going to help you export to iPhone though. I mean, if that's what you did, you would be able to like build for PC and Android and Linux as well, for all of them. For sure. pistol gun. There it is. Okay, animation tree. Not iOS. Yeah, it's not possible. And that looks a lot better in terms of like a running animation. Like that's legit. It's very, very shaky, but that's just the animation. That's just how it looks. This is a pistol. Okay, great. So the question is then, how do I blend these two? And how will I know? Like, can I take the information from the transition? And then what about jump idle? Obviously we don't want it to be that one. We want it to be this one. Looks a lot better. Only Android can do it for iOS? How? How is that possible? I don't understand. I'm gonna fight with you until you show me how that's done. I'm not really fighting with you. I'm just interested. I'm genuinely interested how that's possible because as far as I was aware, the only way to export for iPhone was either to emulate Mac OS on like a PC, or which is shitty, so it's not really an option, or you buy like a MacBook or something to do it because you need an Xcode. Alright, so how am I going to do this? I've got these two animations. I guess this one, I'm going to think of a smart way to build this blend tree. That is really the crux of it. Like, how do I blend these two things in? Okay, so the other question is, let's just go back to idle. We've got still some questions on this. So we're in pistol idle mode. What does the change weapon trigger look like? Honestly, fine. Let's have a look at it from another angle, from like where you would be with your camera. It's honestly fine. Okay, so what about reload? That's a problem, right? But we don't have a pistol reload animation, which is a bigger issue in itself. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention that I just like erased a bunch of code. Well, I didn't erase the code, but I just erased my tree. So like this is not something you could ever like. It almost looks good, but it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the solution is there. I really wish there was a... So how I ask for a solution when you go offline. You just jump in my Discord, man. It's in the link in the description. Join the Discord. I'm terminally online. You can contact me whenever. I might not always reply, but I will read it. Pistol walk? Where is the reload animation for the pistol? Why isn't there a reload animation for combat? What the heck, mate? What if I take out the combat? Draw basic shooter pack. What's in this? 16 animations. I downloaded this at some point. I don't understand. Then the only real option is to animate it yourself, but I'm not willing to do that for this. What's he doing? Oh, it's like playing all the animations. Guy's going all over. Can't keep him in frame. So that's the rifle one. It's basically just the rifle one. I don't know. How I think this should be, right? is there should be this. I need to condense these three down into a single animation. It can be jump idle and you let the transitions take care of themselves, and then sprint, right? Like, what does sprint look like? It's not too bad, but let's have a look with the running. It's serviceable, I would say. Like, it's kind of twisted. I don't know why it's like that. This is also like mostly okay. So we could do like a half blend. Probably. That's kind of a lot though. This arm, keep in mind, is going to be fixed to the left-hand target, which is there. So it looks pretty good there. That got even more motivated. Yeah. Okay. I reckon if this was a 50% blend, it actually looks pretty good. Because here it's kind of messed up because his arm's like too far in, but like 50% is actually pretty good. But yeah, I need a way to like control that from a higher level. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to this one. Can I post? You can post, yeah, of course. There's a channel for that. It's called Feedback. It wasn't originally designed for that, but that's what people are using it for. You can also paste in, promote yourself if you want someone to play your game. And then also, like, just in general, you can post in general as well. That's fine. It's not like a big enough Discord that's going to get lost. There's only 160 of us. All right, let's put our thinking caps on and see if we can find a way to make this blend. I could potentially, I feel like this should sit at a level beyond this. Like, the root is no longer this. It's actually something else. You know what I'm saying? Because what about, okay, so let's just say for a second we're in the run and this is blend, right? What about this? What happens if I do this? His head will sort of like twist up. I don't know if that's actually helpful, but I feel like if you were blending that, he would still be like going all over the shop. Shit. It's like somewhat helpful, but really it needs to be this. So the idols need to sit probably together, and they need to be like on a add to or something like that. In add. What about a blend? It's probably just a blend too. Put those both there. But at the end of the day, it really just, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of lost on what to do here. I know that there's a way. It's just, it could be a blend space. Do you think it could be a blend space one day? What does this look like? You've got two sides of it. Can this be output to multiple places? That's my question as well. I don't think that's possible, right? So if I take all of these out, can I go here and can I go here? No, I can't. You know, can't output this to multiple locations. Which is super annoying. Sub to? Let's bring that back. Interesting. And then obviously if we were playing the hip IK, he would be standing upright. It almost works. You know what I'm saying? This is actually going to be pretty tricky. So what if this wasn't the root? You know what I'm saying? I don't really want it to not be the root. Can I save a copy of this? I actually don't know. Tree root. Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Welcome. I'm like slouching. Like hectic slouching. I'm a bit stumped by this. Not really stumped. I could code my way out of this, but I want it to be clean. So yeah, I don't want to have like multiple points of blend. I want to have one slider that does either you're in pistol or you're in rifle, and then all of this will just be driven automatically. You know what I'm saying? So we've got our run blend, our animation, all these blends, and then we want to know, like, if we're sprinting, we've got the two animations here. So like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Automatically arrange selected nodes? I don't know what that means. What happens if I press it? Ooh, fancy. It's so far away from the rest of it though. Does look a lot better. We just bring this over, you know what I'm saying? Why is this so far away? I much prefer these down. Yeah. And then the reload's still an issue. Actually, your channel is really helpful, but not clickbait. I reckon I clickbait a fair bit, actually. Well, I've tried in the past to clickbait a fair bit. But yeah. If it's a tutorial, I will not clickbait. But if it is just a development, like if it's something more angled towards entertainment, I will clickbait. It is what it is, you know, and it's just the game you have to play. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't, hey, don't play that. I got claimed by my own video for the last one because I was using Epidemic Sound for this, but I didn't renew the monthly thing. And now if I play this on stream, they will claim me. Okay, let's see. How much clickbait do I do? I haven't posted a main video in like 3 months, so I should probably do that. I mean, I'm using... This is now possible. This was... See, I feel like this is like clickbait. Because it's like ultra kill. It's just a... It's a stream clip. Don't know. Yes. But yeah, the rest of them are not really clickbait. Like, they're really basic. Yeah, I suppose I'm not really clickbaiting. This is kinda user shader. I'm not really clickbaiting. I'm trying to rage bait. I'm trying to bait the actually people. The people that want to go like, actually. Because I'm saying this is the best way to fix gun clipping in Godot 4.3. And then I want people to come in and just like either watch the video because it's actually helpful, which is great, or they can be leaving comments because they're like, man, it's better to do it this way. Which you get a lot of when you make videos like this. But yeah. I don't know. Gotta make another video. I'm trying to... What I'm working towards is another video like this. But, we'll get there. If I can figure out this blend. Listen, if I can't figure out this blend, we'll dump the whole thing and I'll go back to just making silly little games for a week. Okay. Aim blend, idle, blend to. Like, can't I blend the state? also, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it possible to like take information from this and like pass it into something? This is kind of like annoying. Like the fact that I can't take that and then have that, you know, go into another state. Frustrating stuff, actually. Is there a way that I can upload on the Play Store without developer account? No. That's what I'm saying, man. You need to like do all that stuff. It's a lot of work. The only way that I could see that happening is if there was some kind of like third-party service that like, and what I'm picturing is that you just give them the project and they'll create something for you. Like you could outsource it, or like a sandbox kind of thing. Like there are some services that will, you know, like you put your game on their service and then they'll like people download their app and it runs from there. I don't know if that exists, but like theoretically that would be possible. And then I suppose the other option is like a web app, and then I don't know how you get that on the Play Store. You probably don't. I guess that's the answer. Ooh, I'm really a bit stumped by this. These blend chains are getting messy and I don't like it. And the fact that I can't output these to multiple locations is bothering me a fair bit. I guess we could have a transition. Is that possible? So we could have like a couple of blends that we could transition between them. So we could go transition and we could have like, there is a license or something like that for not for Google Play. I mean, there is a license, but it's, you know, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to accept the terms. And like fill out a ton of paperwork. Like a ton of paperwork. It's actually a lot of work. It's been a long time since I've done it. I put one game on the Play Store back in 2020. And I never did it again because it's a lot of work, and I also sort of realized that if people don't know who you are, they'll never play your game. Was just asking about that. I can't really go into detail because it's been such a long time that I don't really remember. So what do we call this? We go like weapon positions? How am I naming these? And then we go input and we add 2 elements, and obviously one is rifle and the other one is pistol. Right? Okay, I feel like I'm cooking here. And then you've got the blends. Can we ditch this? So where in the chain this sits, I'm actually not too sure. Like, I guess this just goes in here, and then this goes in here. We still need, this actually doesn't work, because if I transition to this, it's just the idle animation. So that's actually not on the table. Oh, so annoying. It's a good idea, but actually not that helpful. Because now it's like running, and then it's like pistol, and the X-fade time, there is none. Not that that's going to help us. just don't work on my project that much. Well, I mean, yeah, it's hard sometimes. You know, you got to go at your own pace. Right, I really don't know. I don't like what it did with this. These are like in the wrong order now. This is a pretty slow one because I can't think of a good solution for this. What other? So I'm going to the animation tree. This is the root, right? So this is actually the resource that sits on it. I'm going to continue to see a few hours on later on Discord. Yeah, no worries, man. Nice talking to you. This is the blend tree. I want to save this, just in case. Test character. Animations. Do we save it in here? Character blend tree. Something like that. Alright. So what if this wasn't the root? What if there was something else that was the root that sat on top of this that controlled all of that? You know what I'm saying? Is that helpful? This was not the scene root. Could it be something else? Could it be... What if I remove this? Could it be a state machine? That's not really going to be helpful because I'm just going to need 2 sets of blend trees and... So we've got a blend tree, we've got a blend space 2D animation root node. Honestly, I don't think that's the solution. So let's bring that back. Pray that this works still. Camera, model, animations, character animation. It does. That's good. Yeah, okay. Alright, well let's set it up just to work the way that I know it will work, and then we'll have to figure out the rest later. We'll have to do some research. Alright, so we add a blend, probably a blend 3, right? And then we add a blend 2, and so basically this goes here, go in here, we go in here. And then it goes, you don't have, actually maybe this is just a blend 2. Right, then we go here. Then we add the animations, like so. And then we do pistol idle and pistol run. Put them both in there, and then we're good to go. We have to do the filters, right? Hey, Vishal, welcome to the stream. How are you today? And so, we go to the right leg. We don't want the right leg. We want the spine. And I really think it's from the shoulder down that works best here. Although, to be honest, I haven't really tested anything else. Okay. We didn't do that properly. We need to enable the filtering. And so now we have this and then this, right? And we're just going to have to deal with this being a little bit wonky. Okay, so we can put this as the position, the, what do I call it, weapon position? It's so small, hard to read. Right? So we can blend between those two. 0, which is rifle, and this is pistol. Right. And then we've got this, which is like the the movement blend for this particular pistol blend. We'll just call it pistol blend. Okay, pistol underscore blend. This is way harder than doing IK. Like, honestly. Right, so if we're running, we go to that one. If we're idle, we go to 0. Right? To be honest, we could just have it like that. And then, what does it look like in sprint? Honestly, not that bad. The head looks really weird. Are we filtering for that? What if I did the head as well? That's better. What about if I'm idle? That's good. Happy with that. What about if I'm jumping? Fine. It's fine. What about if I'm running? And this will be up like this. Bros all over the shop. This is just like the run idle. Like, I actually... Okay. And if we're aiming, we have to manipulate both of them, which I really don't like. Because, like, this is the same thing as... You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. All right, let's write some code to make this work. Which is going to be a pain in the ass, by the way. It's really going to suck. I just dripped water on myself. All right. Okay, aside from being gross, let's go to work. So we don't right-hand IK start, but the influence needs to be set to 0 to begin with, because we're not actually going to be working with that for quite a while now. So we have a function, set IK influence, right? Set IK influence, right-hand IK, 0, and fade time's fine. Yeah, okay, so we won't have any influence. Now, we need to find everywhere that I did right-hand IK for influence. We need to remove that because it's no longer going to be a part of this like pistol stack. Right, so let's get this out. Let's get this out. Next, set IK influence to 0, weapon manager change. We do actually want that. That's fine to have there. This we need to change completely. Right hand IK position. But other than that, I think we're good. Did we ever bring it back to 1? No, I think I removed that already. So, I guess we'll find out. Basically, this is gone now. But it's not completely gone, right? We still have weapon position. So what we can do is we can say this will now be right hand IK. No, it won't be. It'll be weapon position blend amount, right? And 0 is rifle, which is correct, and pistol is 1, which is correct. So that should be good. And then we run one classifier, weapon to drop, spawn. Okay, we've got that. That's fine. All right. So that really should be all we need to change. The other thing that we need to worry about is this pistol blend, right? So we need to manipulate that, which should be pretty straightforward. Now, when we're sprinting, on sprinting, we set the, so if sprinting is active, we set the IK. That's all we're doing right now, but we can... When do we request the transition? Oh, it's in the state machine. I need to change that. All right, we can request a change to the, I'm going to copy this. Went too far. If active, then our pistol blend is 1. So we go here, copy this, paste this in, 1. And then likewise, it'll be 0. You might need to create a transition for this. 0. Okay. Theoretically, that should be all we need. Let's have a look. See what breaks. That's how I like to debug things. Okay, everything looks fine because obviously we are... That's a problem. Why does it look like that? Anyway, let's go to pistol. That looks fine except the rotations are all messed up. We'll fix that. Okay, we have issues. It's the IK. I'm guessing it's the IK. Skeleton, right hand IK. Let's just 0 that IK for now. Realistically, it shouldn't be coming into effect. Set IK, right hand IK influence to 0. We're doing that 3 times. Here, it needs to be 0. Or just not called on at all, but... Still looks funky. Alright, so there are issues. There are certainly issues. But I would say this is mostly something that we can fix. They're technically the same exact animation pack. So like a lot of that is just going to be like setting up the pistol to sit properly in the hand. Because right now it's clearly not. And then the other thing is, I mean, the sprint looks weird as, but like it is what it is. Everything else seems to work. Now, I kind of felt like, oh no, it's fixed now. Okay. When we first loaded in, that looked non-logical. Hey, welcome to the stream. That looks pretty good. This looks pretty good, except for the way the pistol is sitting in the hand. Now, we can fix that, but it's kind of annoying. See, one of the issues that we're having is that all of the positions have been set up with the rifle in mind. So I guess the question is, like, how can we manipulate the position of this right-hand attachment? Do we need to? Because it's sort of set up to look a certain kind of way with the rifle. Right, so if we change it for this, so if I go back to the animation tree, go to the tree and like just set this up to be like pistol, and let's change to the idle state so that we can actually work with it. Turn this to 0. Right, and then let's activate the hip IK, because that's relevant. See how like there's a like really crazy lean right now. Let's compare that to the animation to the rifle. See how it's like way better. Now that's largely due to the hand position. So the attachment here has been set up to basically align correctly with the hand. See, it's got like these crazy rotations on it. This is just so that when we import the weapon, it looks right in the hand, basically. So I don't know if we like offload that to be something that's in the pistol, like this pistol is just like crazy rotated. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the solution is here. I liked it better when I had IK, but some other things really didn't look very good, so maybe I can do both. Well, right, and that's the other thing as well. What happens? Animation tree. I've got filters, but I'm not including the hips. What happens if I go all the way down to the hips? Ooh, much better. Okay, but what does that look like when we're running? Know what I'm saying? Not so great. But that's okay, because we're going to shift to this one. And, I mean, really doesn't look good, does it? Because the hips are off center. Okay. Now, I've had this similar issue. Let's edit the filters to not include the hip. And now it looks so dumb. Alright. We're not aiming. We're not running. Why would it go so far like that? That looks alright. Let's go back to idle. Ooh. Is this going to be released to the community? No, it will be released to the community at some point. It shouldn't take too long. I am having a little bit of trouble with this animation blending and what's going to be right. I think the biggest issue is that I'm using mixer mode for the animations. What happens if you use widebot and finish my move? What happens if you use widebot and finish my movement and animation for movement and then change widebot for something different? Different models, will it break something? Probably. I mean, I wouldn't know because I've never tested it, but it sounds like it would. I mean, it's not really relevant to me. I think a lot of people would benefit. There's a few already, to be honest. Like, I'm not the first person to do it, but yeah, it's always nice. I like making templates. It's fun. I have a first person one already, but I want to do a third person one. Yes, but this animation stuff, the reason I did a first person template is because animations suck. Alright, so let's just ditch this spine. And that looks much more... It looks better, but like realistically, we do want the hips. Like, that looks really good. But when we bring it into the run, it's really bad. Because everything is fixed in space. And then obviously we have like a run animation. But the way that they filter in just doesn't look good. Do like a 50. Does your first person have bone mouse? My first person doesn't have a rig. I have a commercial version. I have a paid version that does have a rig, but it's much more simpler than this. I don't have an animation tree. It's not really necessary because we're not. It's just the way that it is. It's not required. If that makes sense. But with a third person character, you do need to use a blend tree. There's no way around that. So here we are, doing it. This does not look good. You could probably get away with a half blend. And then left hand IK will work. Let's go to left hand IK, play that, that's fine. That's a lot though. That's a lot to code, and I don't like that. I'm trying to keep it sort of in a more simple state, if that makes sense. And to be honest, it still looks really floaty, let's be real. Like he's not... Let's go to the shader. Animation tree. Edit filters, take out hips and spine. And it looks like way better here because we're not manipulating those. But then in the idle, it looks really bad. I suppose it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Compare it again. Bring these back. Honestly, what? It's barely noticeable. Something wrong here? Character looks stiff on the top part. Not sure if the animation's a placeholder. Well, they all, I mean, it's templates, so it's like all placeholder. You don't want it to make it too complicated. Can we use something like waving idle and gunfire animation while the idle is playing with the gun is also waving? I don't know. The idea with the template is like you bring your own artwork, right? So you can't do too much with the animation. Try to keep it simple is what I like to do. So the FPS one, it was completely stripped back of any animations except for it didn't have a rig. But you could bring one to it very easily because it was all driven by string. So basically, I guess you guys don't know, so I can show you. Oh, we're about to lose internet. We have lost internet. Have we lost internet? It's 8:50. I lose internet every night at 8:50 or 9 o'clock. Somewhere between now and here and now. Wait for it. Refresh the page. Where are we? Okay, so the FPS template, what does that look like? Let's have a look. It happens. I come back straight away, so if it happens, just refresh the page. It's been happening, but now that I've noticed that it's happening, potentially it won't. You know how it is? You are still live. Alright, keep an eye on it. Okay, so first person shooter. This is how the template worked here. Basically, every weapon had its own... Obviously, don't worry too much about the rig. This is just the rig here. It's just basically a floating weapon, which is nothing. And the animation player had a very long list of animations. Essentially, the way it worked was the weapon here just has a list of different animations to play depending on what's happening, right? So you don't really need a blend tree. You could use a blend tree, but I'm not using a blend tree here. And what that means is you can just literally bring in any rig and just label every single animation. As long as you have an animation for the pickup, for the shoot, for the reload, for the change, for the drop, for the out of ammo, and for the melee, it would work 100% of the time. And that works really well for that particular template because it's like, okay, you can just bring in anything you want. And even if the animation's not there, I'm pretty sure it just like doesn't play. It might throw an error in the debugger, but it's not going to stop the game from working, which is pretty good. So yeah, that worked really well. For a third person, I guess I did ask people in the Discord. I sort of checked in and said like, hey, what do you think? Should we do animations for this particular series? And they said, yeah, we should. And so here I am trying to make it work and figure out how it can work. and having things like this happen. I dropped. Tell me I didn't drop. There it goes. Ay, ay, ay. We're back. Yeah, everyone's still... It doesn't go away for like long enough. You know what I'm saying? Like it never disconnects long enough to break the stream. It's just like a very, very short amount of time. Which I find to be pretty strange. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really do much about that. I think it's external. We had a big outage a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so that looks fundamentally worse. So if we just keep the head, the neck. Spine 2. Okay, spine 2 is where it matters. Yeah, it is really strange. I don't think it's me, right? Like, nothing inside your house can make your internet disconnect that quickly. And it's like, it's house-wide, so it happens on every single device. I don't think I would even notice if I wasn't streaming because it's so quick. Okay, let's have a look at the run. I mean, it's not the best, but it's fine. I'm willing to accept that for what we're working on here. I still don't like this. I would rather this be a single thing that is controlled some way or another. But for now, it is just what it is. And am I even controlling this at the moment? I don't even remember. Pistol blend in the sprint. Yes, I am. All right. Let's see how this looks. I've fiddled around with the blending, so let's go to the pistol. Okay, so now we just need to work on the facing of the weapon. I really don't like this. This is a bit of an issue when it comes to basically how I've decided to make it look straight ahead, which is with just a default rotation. So if I go back to idle, because it's a little bit easier to show this issue. The decisions, right? Okay, so like, obviously we could just like rotate the weapon. Like, what happens if we just go, hey, this looks a little bit weird. Why don't we make it straight? Right? We could probably get away with that. But in terms of like instructions to like other people, oh yeah, just rotate your weapon so that it looks right. I don't know if that's a good advice to give. Pistol? Paste value? Just a little offset. Still not right. It would need to like rotate more that way, if that makes sense. And then a part of that, does the crouch animation change the collision? You talk about the first person shooter? The answer is yes. This doesn't have a crouch animation. This guy doesn't crouch. He's not capable of crouching. And I don't think I'll make him capable of crouching. Do you think people will ask for that? They'll probably ask for that, eh? Low-key kind of annoying. It's another blend I'm not willing to include. The thing is, with this third person, the more stuff you start to include, the more the animation player gets like gigantic. And the blends required are kind of insane. Like, you would need an entire transition. Oh, hey, look, I'm live, guys. Delete the message. I'm just watching this on Twitch now. Yeah, it's gone. Sorry, I thought that was kind of funny. Just going to... I suppose it needs to go even further. Not that way. Kind of like that. I'm just been playing around at this point just to see. What looks good. Still needs to go the other way actually. Can animations and models have collisions on the mesh with everything? Yes, okay, I can show you something like that. I haven't fully implemented it yet, but in this world, he just has a big collision shape. But old mate over here has a lot of collision shapes. We have, okay, these things here called attachments. These are really handy because you can say, Mixamo head. And so this is now going to follow the position of the head. And so let me just turn off this collision shape and probably get rid of this. And so you've got multiple attachments with area 3D that detects damage. And so you can say that there's a damage multiplier on this. This is a body, so it has 1. And I've been lazy on the legs, and it's just one single area. And it has a 0.2. So shooting him in the legs doesn't do much damage. It doesn't have anything in the hands. Obviously, you can go crazy with this. You could have this be like multiple areas. You know what I'm saying? And then you could have damage multipliers for every single one of them, depending on how you've coded it. Like, this is very basic. Basically, all it does is body connected on body entered. So if body is rigid body bullet, it runs this function hit successful. So basically, whenever a bullet enters in, and bullets are like rigid bodies, or they're area 3Ds, I'm actually not too sure. Rigid body bullet, so it must be a rigid body. Hit successful. That's it. And then body damage, and then it multiplies that by the multiplier, and then passes it on. It emits that signal to the enemy script up here. It has health. I mean, if you want it to be truly a good coder, good game developer, can we add collisions to the guns? Why? Why would you need to do that though? So it doesn't clip? No, okay, so what I've done, it doesn't clip because you can't collide with the wall. If you mean like with the character, that would be a bad idea. You can't do that, but he can't even like walk into the wall because the wall, the collision shape around the character is bigger than the animations itself. You know what I'm saying? So the way for a third-person shooter, I think this is the right way to go. It might not, you know, maybe you want to do it differently. You can't really do a shader because like there's depth and you'll notice. So with the first-person shooter, it's a lot easier to put a shader over the top and say, draw that over everything, but it doesn't matter because it's directly in front of you. So visually, you expect to see it that way. Only with the gun. This here, what kind of clipping are you concerned about? Like where it's going through the hand? Or like the wall? Which do you mean? And are you doing first person or third person? Because I can tell you pretty easily. Look how it sits outside of the... That's so funny. Which way did I decide this needs to be turned? Probably like this way, right? Something like this. Oh look, it's like getting shifted around and stuff. It's not happy with that. It's like, what are you doing? Kova, I'm waiting for your answer. I like how we're like basically back at square one. I thought maybe it needs to go this way. Oh yeah, that was the answer. Just rotate it. Just counter rotate it. Something's wrong with the blends? Honestly, the reload's not that bad. Something is wrong with the blending. Pistol. Let's close some of this stuff off. First person. Okay. I can explain that to you. Number one, first person, yeah. So, generally speaking, with first person shooters, you don't necessarily want to put a collision shape. You could do that. It's not really going to work the way that you expect it to. Where's my first person shooter? Okay. So, option number one, collision shape, right? So right now, this guy's collision shape is actually not, it doesn't cover the weapon. So I think I have a sub viewport, right? So if I turn off the sub viewport, this is another thing we can show you that. And I also need to make sure for the blaster, which one is visible at the moment? Blaster eye is being drawn. Actually, what I can do is on this main camera, just turn that layer back on. Right, so in a general scenario where you have your weapon and it extends past the collision shape, when you walk into a wall, it will go through, right? Which is obviously something you want to avoid. So you do have a couple of options, right? So option number one, most basic, if you have a simple capsule shape, you can just make it bigger, or you can make the weapon smaller, right? So I could just make this collision shape, I could just increase the radius until the weapon was inside that. Obviously we're having a bit of trouble here because for some reason I might have to make it taller. It's not happy. This is animated, it's not possible. So we'll just go with 1.85. I don't know if that's actually going to be enough. We should just make the weapon smaller if that's the case. So now I can no longer put the weapon inside the wall because I'm too big. Like I can't actually get against the wall, right? And fundamentally, like players can't really tell the difference, right? Like I can't tell that I'm not getting that close. I suppose if I look down, but like at the end of the day, it is what it is. Maybe for physics objects, it's going to matter, right? But is it, you know, like how much can you really tell? It's fine if you want to do that, right? Or make the weapon smaller. Either one works, right? Doesn't the bullet hit the collision? No, right? So you can account for that as well. First and foremost, hit from inside is true. It's actually false by default. To be honest, I've never had that issue anyway because I actually I do a raycast from the camera and I've never had issues colliding with the inside, but some people do. You can collide with inside, that's fine. But number one is control of your layers, right? So the player can never... So let's actually try this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it too much, but let's say for whatever reason, the character animation player, I'm trying to think what we can do. We probably just need to create a new collider that isn't animated. I don't know how it's going to like this much. I think it'll be quite upset with me doing this. Collision shape, what does it say? It's like, shape must be provided. Okay, yeah. New collision shape. New cylinder shape. New capsule shape. Okay, let's just make this one really big because we can. Right, so without a doubt now, the bullet, see this gizmo here? There's a lot of lines, I know, but we can turn some of that off, like lean pivot, lean left collision. See this here? It's kind of hard to click. This here is actually where the bullet's going to spawn. So now we know that it's definitely going to be inside this gigantic collider. Absolutely behemoth collider. Which is going to be pretty funny. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick up any of these weapons. I am. That's good. Okay. This one here is it's a rigid body. And it's obviously not colliding with the inside of this other rigid body. Now that's by default, that is the default behavior, you know? So your rigid body bullets will never collide with the inside of a collision shape. So that's pretty safe, but I'm pretty sure you can ensure that some other way. Let's have a look. Number one is with masks, right? So the player is on layer 2 and it never collides with layer 2. So maybe actually it's not default behavior. Let's have a look. Let's turn on the second layer and see how it goes. I'm gonna go pick up this weapon. The player moves really strangely now. It's got a big collision shape on it. All right. So yeah, the answer is layer control, not hit from inside is false. So you just make sure that whatever layer your character is on, so the character is on layer 2, the bullet isn't going to mask that same layer because, like, number one, if you're shooting the bullet, it doesn't really need to mask that layer. Like, your rigid body bullet doesn't need to know or ever detect the collision of the player. Like, ever, right? So that's your answer. And then it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can never collide. Let's pick up the rocket launcher this time. If I can. So now we've not got any issues when it comes to collision. And we might be a bit too far away. We can shoot. Got to set up those layers. This is what I was saying. So let's go find that. I think it's going to be rocket launcher projectile. Open scene. Collision shape. Right? This is wrong. This is not how you should be set up. Like, what have I got for the other one? Let's just widen this up. It is 5, 1, 3, 6. So this is important. Rigid body projectiles exist on their own layer. They mask the world because obviously they need to be able to detect the world. They mask the objects and they mask enemies, right? So they need to be able to detect those layers. Other than that, you don't want them to know. If I can pick this up and see now, it works just fine. And the rocket launcher does rocket launching things, right? I would say the reason that this has worked up until now, that's actually an interesting bug, is because these guys actually do exist in the world too. I don't know. Can we call collisions on specific actions? Yeah, so I can show you an example of that. First of all, let's delete this. I mean, I guess I really haven't finished explaining the different options you have for your collisions, right? But I think that's fine, especially if you're making a more simple game. Which one's that? Give me the big one. Delete. Right? I use a sub viewport container and that draws the weapon. So this particular camera draws on layer 20 and this camera, which is the main camera, doesn't. So that's how we do that. And so with that, you can have a smaller collision shape and then you can still not have it overlap, which is nice. I think it's the way that you're kind of supposed to do it. In Godot, it doesn't work that great, but you know, we roll with it. So yeah. Okay, so next question is, collision specific actions. Okay, yes. So something that I've done in this particular template, it's kind of hard to see, but let's go to the character animation player, and from the side, animation tree, right? So we've got a couple of different actions, right? We are blending a little bit, and we've got a crouch blend, we've got a lean blend, right? So when we crouch, we're actually changing the shape of the collision shape. Look, it's a little ball now, and it grows, and then when you jump, it actually goes up instead to make it a ball shape. And then with lean, when we lean, what happens here? What happens when we lean? Oh my goodness. A lot happens when we lean. We've got a whole bunch of different animations. We go out with the camera on either side. I don't actually think that the collision shapes follow there. There's another way of detecting that. Basically, I just check to see if there's a wall, and if there is a wall, we don't actually do this. We have collisions, right? We have collision blends, and so if the right collision blend's active, then we don't ever leave the collision shape. We actually just rotate the camera. So that's sort of like how you get around that. You know what I'm saying? The other option is to just never let the camera actually outside of the collision shape, but it's really up to you how you want to do that. So we can call actions like this. So you can have like leading it. But you can see like, is it back to front? That's actually pretty funny. I didn't know that. Yeah, I have to fix that. Interesting. I wonder when that happened. Got some bugs, boys. We found some bugs. Did they get swapped? What happened there? Where is that controlled? Can we use a capsule, but in multiplayer, can we use a model? Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. You can use that example of what I was showing before. What you would do, right? What I would do, I've never done this, but what I would do is for movement, obviously you use a capsule, right? But like, you want the collision, and like for multiplayer, it's a whole other kettle of fish, right? Can of worms? Kettle of fish? I don't know what the right term is. I'm all over the place with that lately, but when one player is shooting another, they're not really shooting them, right? So like for this to be the player, it's fine. But what someone is shooting at is not this, right? This doesn't exist in their world. So that's the thing you've got to separate. And that's a whole thing. I haven't actually done it. I understand the theory, and I did it a little bit, but then I dropped it because it was too hard. But yeah, so like what you're shooting at is not the same thing as what a player is using to move around. It's a completely different thing. So yeah, but if you don't understand that, you should probably like first make a game and then build up to that. Like make a first person shooter that isn't multiplayer, then like do some research on networking, and then like go to the next step, you know? Even if starting lower, if you've never made a game before, start something small, make something 2D. Start something small, make something like easy 3D without much art, you know? And then like build up and just build up to the next one and keep going until you can make something like this without having to like understand everything from scratch, you know? Obviously not everyone does that, but this is probably the best way to go about it. What am I making? I don't know, bro. I don't know what you're making. Is using a model. Yeah, well, that's fine. You're just gonna have to make things different to what I do because I didn't use a model. That's always the same thing. Like one size doesn't fit all. It's like whatever you're doing is going to be different from whatever I'm doing, and so I can only give you very general advice. The weapon kind of sticks out, eh? Oh no, it's inside. It's not bad. Alright. Yeah, there's something weird with the blend. Something going on here. instead of capsule so multiplat. Yeah. I mean, you can still have a capsule and have a model. Like this guy is still has a capsule. You know what I'm saying? Like this character has a model and it still has a collision shape for the movement. So when you're calculating gravity and all that kind of stuff, it's super easy, right? And then if I was going to, say for example, if I was going to create, I would create, this is how I'd structure it, right? Say I was going to create a bunch of hitboxes, because I would need that if I was making a third person shooter. I still want to know where they're getting hit, right? To calculate damage, because this is not a good, accurate representation of the, delete that, it's the wrong node to create. This is not a good, accurate representation. Like if the enemy is shooting at this, that player is going to have a really bad time, right? So I would create a node 3D and I would just call it hitbox. To work with, it's just like your model, but the camera is mounted to the head. That's all. Yeah, that's fine. Just, I'm sure you'll be okay. And then I would create a bunch of bunch of bone attachments, right? Bone attachment 3D, and like create a bunch of these. And within these, there would be like, so you would do external skeleton and then assign it. I should probably have done that. Show all. It's going to be, where is it? Test character. Oh, I need to make that editable. All right. External skeleton. We'll assign that to skeleton 3D here. And then we've got all the bone names, right? So you want to go head, right? This one's assigned to the head. So you could say, you can call this one head. And then we can duplicate these a bunch. We can call this one the chest, right? Go to spine 2. Chest. This is going to follow that. We can go and make this one the hips, right? And then follow that. And then we can make this one the, where's the leg? Can we redirect skeleton to another skeleton? I don't even know what you're asking, man. Probably not. Like, that requires a lot more. Like, I don't, like, do you mean to just like retarget the animations from one skeleton to another? Godot is not capable of that at the moment. So I would say no. Right leg, you know? So right leg. Make this one the left leg. Yeah, it's not possible, mate. If it is, then I would like to hear about it from somebody. Because as far as I know, retargeting is not possible yet. Although we can just Google that together. Godot 3D animation retargeting. Godot gets animation retargeting. We've been talking about it. Import animations with animation retargeting. Easy animation targeting. Cat Brisby 2023. Easy animation. Let's have a look at the article. Animation retargeting. This article is from November 2022. Some of its contents might be outdated and no longer accurate. Okay, what is animation retargeting? This is essentially what you're asking. Godot has a very simple animation. This was in 2022, so yes, back then it was really bad. Bones have transforms that indicate try animation retargeting. Set up a target model. Advanced import settings. Interesting. Import the model you want to place in the scene. Import as scene. So yeah, it looks like there's instructions for this. Although as far as I'm aware, this is not really like implemented fully yet, but I could be wrong. The model you import having the animation you want to use as animation library. Right. Yeah, okay, that's what I've done. Set up the scene. It's really, is it really needed or as important as it can already be done in Blender and other DCCs? Godot doesn't need to be Unreal or Unity. I think I agree with you, Vishal. It is possible. I do it all in Blender, right? Because it's just easier and more reliable. Because Godot's like, I think they're probably I would say Godot it doesn't need to be Unity or Unreal, but it probably, if it wants to compete, which it does, I think, well, a lot of people want it to. It will eventually have these things because there's demand. Being open source means that people can just make these things. So like someone will say we should have this, and then they will make it, and then they'll like push it upstream. You know what I mean? Time to make 3D games. Okay, so animation features have improved. Skeleton bones can now be manipulated directly in the viewport. No, they can't. And broken blend animations have been fixed. I'm pretty sure this has been like not implemented yet because you cannot manipulate these in the viewport very well. I mean you can, but it's not. It ain't great. This doesn't exist. Right? See all this? New issue. This hasn't been. Oh, it has been merged. Learning. Reset all pose. Apply poses to rest. Create physical skeleton. Export skeleton profile. What do these buttons do? Yeah, like I think ultimately being open source, it's going to get these things, but the quality just takes way longer. You know, it takes a lot longer for it to get to that state. Okay, hold up. We're learning here. Edit mode. Ooh. Interesting. I didn't know this existed. Kinda shitty. Oh yeah, it just completely detaches. There's no okay. It's forward. I guess it's forward kinematics. That's fine. But it still shouldn't detach like that. That's not right. Well, what do I know? It's forward. You can only rotate realistically at the end of the day. Very fascinating. Okay, so maybe I'm telling lies and there's more to it. I mean, to be honest, I'm not an expert when it comes to 3D animation in Godot. I generally avoid it because it's kind of trash, but it looks like you can reset all bone poses. Okay. We go back to idle. Apply poses to rest. Apply selected poses to rest. Create physical skeleton. What does that mean? I don't want to click it. I'm scared. Click it. Oh my god. Oh, it's like rigid bodies and shit. What the heck, mate? What have I done? Oh, physical bone, collision shape, collision shape, collision shape. Holy shit. Physical bone simulator. Delete. Looks like I have to do some research. Edit mode. Show buttons on joints. Insert key. Existing tracks insert. Insert key or bones. Okay. But yeah, retargeting, I don't know. I wouldn't rely on it. I'll just say that. Do some research, I guess, because it seems like it's come a way. It's come a fair way. But, yeah. I don't know. Cool. Cool. And back to our problem at hand. We're doing it. Animation tree shader. We got a bit distracted, Salvo, this evening, didn't we? This blend wasn't working before? And I don't know why. Let's just delete that. That's not the script I want. Test character. Pistol blend amount equals 1 when we're active. Otherwise 0. It's not changing. It should be moving around a lot more. It is when we're, oh, you know what it is? It's when we're sprinting, yeah, but when we're running, it's not. So the question is, right now there isn't anything, and this is something that I've been thinking about for this project. In the state machine, we have an animation, we have a link to that animation tree, and each state is controlling the animation player. So technically, if I wanted to, I don't like this because I'm thinking I want to change it, to be honest. Can we use node 3D instead of character body 3D for your character? Yeah, you can. You won't be able to collide with nothing, but you can. It depends what you're making, right? Like if you made something where collisions weren't a factor, yeah, absolutely. I made a game the other day where the character was like a sprite or something. Oh, well, you know what? Like, it was a character 2D, but it could have easily been like a character. It could have easily been a node 2D because like I actually didn't want collisions. It's so stupid. I should have taken it out. I didn't in the end. It was for a game jam. It's like whatever. Okay. So let's go to run. Right. Enter. We want to say that the animation tree transition request for player FPS. I wouldn't recommend it. I would say like why? Like what's the benefit there? You know what I'm saying? Like why? How would that actually help you? Like what's your goal in changing it to a node 2D, a node 3D? Like run that through, because it seems like I can't think of a reason why. Like how are you going to collide with the floor? You know? Custom stuff? Well then if you want to do that, just do it, man. Like it's fine. I mean, nothing's wrong. Like there's no wrong or right way to do it, man. If you want to do it and you want to write your own custom things, like if I could think to myself, like, say for example, especially for a mobile game, like you didn't really want the player to like control too much where they went. Like say there's a genre of shooters that probably still exist in mobile, but like back in the day were really popular, right? In arcades, like everyone's played Time Crisis. It's on rails. It's like a first person shooter on rails. On rail shooters. It's like an actual game genre. And so like you didn't move. And so like if you were making an on rails shooter, there would be no reason to have a character body 3D because you could control the clipping, right? It's never going to come into contact with anything. It's just following a path. So there wouldn't be any reason for you to use a character body 3D if it was a shooter on rails. If it's not on rails, if you're expecting the player to move around and collide with things, well, you have a character body 3D there already. So you would use that probably 99.99% of the time. You can do your own physics in Godot. It's open source, so that's 100% something that's open to you as an option. There are other physics engines you can implement in Godot. You could use, what's it called? Starts with a J? No? What's it called? The other physics engine that's really popular. I forget its name. I don't use it, but it's there if you want it. Just Google custom physics in Godot. All right. Let's go back to animation control. Excuse me. Grab this in the run. We're gonna do this, and then in the exit function, we have an exit function. We'll change that to 0. Wait, there is a physics engine? Yeah, dude. Is it Jolt? Yeah, I remembered it. Jolt. Godot, I don't know if it will work for your particular use case. Jolt. Godot Jolt. Everyone loves it. Let's have a look. This guy here, Letter Corporation, loves it. It's the best physics
You may
engine.
already know that the default Godot physics can lead to bad performance
Bro needs a better microphone. Still, I'll give you a like.
and incorrect behaviors. That is when using an external physics add-on appears as a promised alternative, and Yolt Physics is the most known and most used plugin for this work. As you can see, the comparison between Godot's physics and Yolt is amazing. Yolt can handle much more elements and their behaviors are better as well. Today we will get to import Yolt in an empty Godot
Do we know that polychromic games use Jolt?
project and start using it with a simple example as the one that I showed a second ago. So let's get started. So let's start with the installation process. I will be leaving a link in the description so that it is much faster for you. That basically will direct you to the Godot assets library assets, and basically here
From the assets library. I don't know how well it will work with Android, but
you will have the
I don't use it personally. It introduces a lot of other stuff. Like, if you're like, I don't know, I guess it just depends on use case. I haven't come across a use case where I thought this would be useful for me. People say it's better, but yeah, it honestly depends on use case. Like, are you using the physics engine a lot? Is there a specific interaction that you need to use it for? Like, not me.
Godot Yolt, okay? So now that you are here, you're going to click where it says download and wait a couple of seconds until everything is correctly downloaded. Now, I really recommend you to take a look at the repository of Yolt, basically to have more details and information about this add-on, so you can go ahead and click here where it says view files. And basically here, if you scroll down, you
Right, this is a really long video, but yeah, you get the point. Who's this guy? I've never heard of him. He makes Godot videos. Is he he's kind of like a quality over quantity kind of guy? I don't know. Versus Rapier 3D. Okay, let's have a look. Bust it out, mate.
Godot 3D physics engine often faces criticism for its performance. This leads some developers to try other alternatives such as Yolt and Rapier 3D.
Honestly, I actually don't think it's that big a deal, but I guess it just depends on what you're making, as always.
Which are basically meant to provide
Some people get really crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys are aware that there's an entire conspiracy theory around like Godot and its performance and how it's a scam. Have you heard of this? Godot is a scam? We can check that after.
better
It's crazy.
performance and behaviors. But are these alternatives actually worth considering? Today we will test Godot Physics 3D, Yolt and Rapier 3D to help you decide which is the best physics engine for your game. Let's get started. Firstly, I will super quickly go over the exact project that we are going to be using, the basic elements of which then the bolts
Just
are
run the
going
game, bro.
inside, and the only thing that it has is a mesh in. The only script that the volts and
just checking the
FPS
FPS.
005 spawning a volt at this rate, and also have the volts amount that then I use in order to update the object.
Why does my Godot project go crazy? That sounds like a you issue. After importing something, oh right, okay, so there's like a duplication, but like, don't worry about it, I guess I would say. But yeah, like if you're downloading a lot of stuff, it's going to make it a big file.
Its number, okay?
The answer to your question is something called the import. So if I go to anything, so here's a game that I was working on over the weekend called Curse a Pixel Game. And it's pretty big. I think it got to about 60 megabytes, which to be honest is bigger than what I was expecting, but I think it's mostly due to the music. So the properties, it's 90 megabytes. So if I go to view and I go hidden items, there is a hidden folder called .godot. And if I go to properties here, you'll see that it's also about 70 megabytes. And this is actually all the information of everything that's been imported. And it carries all of that. So imported, and it's basically everything. Ambient volume 4. It's like a pointer to the file, 17 megabytes. And if you go and you find that ambient volume number 404, if I go back and I go to music and I find that here, I need to include the, hello, Windows, I forget, bitrate, yeah, ascending, descending, add columns, size, there we go. Okay, so it's a 25 megabyte file and it produces a 17 megabyte import file. My prototype is 800 megabytes. Well, that's, yeah, once again, it's a U problem, but yeah, there will be file sizes increasing exponentially. So yeah, you import, you get this thing here, 25 megabytes, you get a 17 megabyte import file. So the total size is like 50 megabytes. I don't know, it is what it is. Wouldn't worry about it too much, except for the fact that, yeah, just know it exists, but you can't control it. You can delete this file. It'll just get regenerated when you start the project. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. But like, if I export this file, my model size is less than 50 megabytes. Yeah, well, all I'm telling you is that you're going to have, so whatever your file directory is, so say all of this stuff is 90 megabytes and it produces a 70 megabyte hidden file. So this is driven by all of this. So it's not a one-to-one, right? It's a little bit smaller, but so you've got 400 megabytes of data and that's getting turned into, maybe you've got 500 megabytes of data. I don't know the exact ratio. So you've downloaded half a gigabyte and it's produced a .godot that's like 300, 400, right? So like, I don't know, man. Is what it is. It's just for import. Yeah.
Okay. And as you can see, well, indeed the code is quite simple and straightforward in the process delta function.
All right, mate.
I'm
We don't need to
updated
go over the code.
straightforward and overclocked or anything that was in this case.
Just run it.
Windows 11 VS. Let's start off with Godot physics. And as soon as we start playing, we do get quite interesting FPS and volts. But well, when we reach something like 1500 volts, everything starts to break quite easily. In spite of this fact, the collisions still remain quite accurate. There aren't volts falling behind, trespassing collisions or anything like that. The main problem here doesn't really have to do with behaviors, I would say, but with the performance that we get. Now let's try out Rapier 3D.
Never heard of this
before. So as soon
before.
as we start, we see some errors in terms of the collision. I don't really know why, because I didn't modify any project settings. I just installed Rapier and did the export. Although right now we do get much better results. The game starts to break, basically
Yeah, I mean, I've had performance issues with collisions in one of my previous games, and you know what I did? I just took them out.
which is
but yeah, I
less
totally
than 30
understand
FPS
in this case.
and something like 2000.
Yeah, of course, hardware and drivers affect performance. Yeah,
500.
but like in a consistent, like obviously he's running these on the same machine and he's getting better performance. So like,
volts, which is much more than without physics that was breaking in something like 1500 volts. And lastly, let's try out Jolt.
I imagine Jolt's pretty accurate, but it's probably not as performant as the other one.
So here we have no errors in terms of collision. The behaviors are still quite accurate and quite good. And here we are able to surpass the 2500 barrier or 2200.
I mean, what are we getting to? 3000 with 6 FPS? Is it really that much better? So what do we get? Oh, gonna skip. So we got 1500, 72 FPS. I mean, yeah, if you're targeting like a mobile device, then you've got to really reconsider things.
Here we are able to surpass the
You get like an extra 500 balls, maybe an extra 1000. Styrofoam falling simulated Jolt is better in most cases. Yeah, that's my whole thing is like Godot physics is enough depending on what you're creating. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that there are different physics engines. I'm not willing to go down that path myself. I'm just happy to use with what I've got, if you know what I'm saying. I'm happy with what's there. All right. Okay, that exit function isn't being called. Looks really bad. What do I think about this? I think this is good enough. I really don't like the way it's facing. And I don't like that this is being done on the, so I'm not calling the right function because I can tell that this isn't, what's it called? Oh, underscore exit, that's what it needs to be called. Pew pew. Okay, go back to the test character. No, go back to run, ball, run. There we go. Hands moving look weird. Yeah, they don't look that great. This is also like, it's snapping a lot. I'm not really happy with the solution anyway, to be honest. So I don't know. I actually don't know what I'm going to do because like I do want to, like, you know, obviously people are going to want like a pistol. This is fine. This looks kind of gross. The rotation is like horrendous. I guess the option is just to not do that. You know what I'm saying? Return. Comment that out. Like we can get away with this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the best, but it's not like that bad. Like I would rather use this. I never liked this animation either. This is the one that just Mixamo has. It's horrible. There's way too much movement. And we can kill. All right, awesome. All right, I need to think about this a lot because I'm not happy with the problems that we're having to overcome and the way that we're doing it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I might just need to like forget about it. I was always going to do this section of the tutorial with like a bit of a caveat saying like it's really just going to depend on your project. But yeah, I don't really want it to be that bad because I feel like if I put that out, it wouldn't be received well. And yeah, I don't know. It's just not the best, but we'll cross that road when it comes to it. Anyway, oh, we got no music. Alright, so thank you to Gyps, Hazza, Color Pants, Rab, Big Green, Nike, Joe, Spriggy T, YGG, Skullmonger, Mr. Sparkle, Oh Yeah Dude, and RJS Beer. Supporters on Patreon. Obviously, supporters get access to all these templates in advance, and the videos, when they do come out, will be posted in advance as well. Yeah, other than that, you get access to private Discord where I can help you with your code, custom builds, all that kind of stuff. But until next time, guys, it's been fun. It's been quiet, actually.